It's my pleasure to have Professor Josep Torrellas today with us. Joseph doesn't need much introduction, but I will let him to talk about himself a little bit.
Hi, Amir. Hi, everybody. So, as you know, I'm professor of computer science at the University of Illinois. I have been there for over 30 years. I think I joined in 1992. And so before that, I was a PhD at Stanford. And before that, I came from Catalonia in Spain, where I did my bachelor's in electrical engineering.
Thanks, Joseph. So maybe we can start about your job. What motivates you about this job? What makes you go to work every day?
Okay, so that's a good question, and it's a bit private, of course, but you think about where you come from, who you are, right? Your roots. You think about your parents and your relatives back where you are. In my case, in Catalonia, right? And that motivates me to do better than my ancestors, right? And then every day trying to do the best you can to improve the lives of other people, right? Students and other colleagues.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Joseph. I think you talked about the student, and I think a big part of a professor is to work with the student, recruit them. What do you consider when you recruit the students?
Okay, so I'm looking for somebody who has a good, who's passionate about the work, right? So I'm looking at the undergraduate experience. You're talking about graduate students,
Yep,
right? So
that's
undergraduate experience, mostly grades and courses that the person has taken, and that's really what I'm looking for. Not about research experience necessarily or papers or any of the stuff, but somebody who really wants to do a good job in what he or she is doing.
That's great. Thanks. So let's say they join your team and they join your work. What do you think makes a successful PhD study? How do you work with them to ensure that they have a successful career and successful path?
All right. So you can speak to my students to get a better idea, right? But to me, it's important that we don't rush to research right away, right? Instead, usually in the first semester for sure, sometimes even a year, I let them look around, see what the other members of the group are doing, and slowly get into the research, understand all the research topics, and then usually they pick one sub-area, and then I try to pair them with more advanced students, right? And then I meet together with the more advanced student, and slowly they get to find their own way in the research project. And of course, doing internships and other experiences is very important. And eventually they come up with their own problem, and sometimes it doesn't work, sometimes it works better than others, but that's the path to the PhD.
That's great. Thanks. So we discussed about research and projects but how do you choose any project for your team, for your group, basically?
Right. So, so this is mostly looking at the environment, looking at what the industry is doing, look at what the different trends in computing are, right? And then after that, you're looking at the interests of the students as well. And so together we're finding an area and then a sub-project in that area. Usually in my group, we have a few areas that that are hot, so we're working on.
That's great. So yeah, we talked a lot about work. So how do you balance multiple tasks and multiple time? Because I'm sure you have multiple PhD students, you have your teaching job, and you have personal life. How do you make sure that you kind of create a balance between all this?
Okay, as you know, this is a bit difficult, and this is not just in academia. That's
Yes,
everywhere.
of course.
In industry, these days everybody wants you to do more work with fewer people and fewer assistants, right? Well, so usually I try to find big chunks of time to dedicate to one particular task, right? So you have advising obligations, right? And so you try to put them in certain times, certain days of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have some service, you try to put it in certain times. And then you block other times for family and children and family.
That's great. Thanks. So, what do you think? What is your vision and about the remaining challenges and opportunities about your own research field?
Oh, the challenges continue to appear all the time, right? So I have been working for many years on parallel systems for programmability and energy efficiency. So now we have a large center, SRC DARPA Center on distributed computing, focusing on energy efficiency. So that's a big challenge. How do you ensure that not all the energy in the world goes into computing, right?
Makes
So,
sense.
and have very efficient distributed computing. Now we have AI,
Mm-hmm.
and AI is going to change everything. So many of the research problems we're working on have an AI component, and
Yeah.
so that's a big area for starting PhDs.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Joseph. So I think for the last question, what was the rewarding part of this job? What was the most rewarding part of this job?
Okay, so the most rewarding, as many faculty probably have told you, is the interaction with students,
That's great.
right?
Yeah.
Be able to see a student coming fresh from undergraduate and then going through all the challenges and all the good and a bit stressing things
Of
through the
course.
PhD and then eventually graduating and being able to say that they're an expert in certain area. Right?
That's
That's
great. Yeah. Thanks, Joseph. Thanks again for being with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Amir.
Yeah.
Thank you, Shimin.